Happy 4th of July, everyone. At least all you Americans out there. I know we've got people watching us from overseas too, but today is Independence Day. I hope you guys are having a great day with your family. Or maybe you're not seeing this on 4th of July. Maybe you'll see it later. But anyway, hope everybody's having a great week. I want to do, we're going to finish up this sign, hopefully finish it up. I'm going to get going on it. But I wanted to read something to you I got from one of our viewers. His name is Mark. And he said, I just got a kick out of this. I thought you guys might like it. He said, have you ever heard the story of the 12-year-old boy who thought his father was just this side of incompetent? By the time he turned 21, he was totally amazed at how much his father had learned in those few short years. Well, I'm not 12, I'm not 21, nor neither I can remember very clearly those years. I've been carving inset letters and sayings on wood for longer than I've been watching your videos. When I started watching you folks, I thought you were just this side of incompetent. I've only been watching for about a year or two, and I'm totally amazed at how much you have learned. I just thought that was awesome. So thank you, Mark, for definitely putting a smile on my face. That was amazing. I loved it. Anyway, thought you guys might get a kick out of that. We've learned a lot in the last year or two. All right, so let's move on with this thing. The last thing you guys saw, the last thing you guys saw, I just finished up all the carving. So the next step is make sure that there's no loose stuff back in there when we go to spray it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take my little hand carving tool. You guys have seen me do this before, but I just wanted to reiterate that it's super important that you get all this loose stuff out of here. So this in the middle of the U, that's going to be a high spot. If we don't get this out of here, either high spots or stuff that's stuck down in there, then when we spray it, it's either going to come up as a white spot in the background or it'll fall out later on. Now here's a spot that I always try to look for. Did I mess you up? I tried to keep the board in the same spot. See this little piece right here? That's not a high spot, but we've got to get that out of there, because if that falls out afterwards, it's going to end up being a white spot down in there. So I look for places like that. Like here, there's a little white spot, or would be a white spot. So I kind of go over all this stuff, and anything that would be a high spot or a loose piece, I've got to get out of there. Let me see, there was another one down here somewhere. Well, maybe I got it. That would be kind of a high spot. I don't normally do this with it standing up.
What is it you're using to get those?
This is just a little hand carving tool. But you could use a pocket knife if you're comfortable with that. That little hand carving tool works really well for me. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of reiterate that, go over that a little bit. Now, we're going to go ahead and put our edge on there. Now, somebody was asking the other day, because I didn't do this on camera, but I round these with a little 6-inch disc on a belt disc combination. That's how I round the corners. You guys could find, I think I've done that 2 or 3 times on camera. But that's how I do those. But you could do it with a belt sander too if you want, and I've done that on camera as well. So I've got the 45-degree chamfer bit in. I've already set my depth. I want a real nice heavy bevel or chamfer on the edge of this. So I put the that's our 45 degree, and it works real well. So I am just going to go ahead and do that edge. Now, I'm going to shallow that up and do a slight chamfer on the back side. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to blow it that way. I really wasn't. There's a little bit of a swirling wind going on out. Okay, guys, I'm going to get the rest of this sawdust off of here, and then we're going to come back and we're going to get this thing sprayed black. All right, guys, I talked about this earlier on a former previous video. This is nice and stable. It's not going anywhere, but there are some little divots and stuff in there. So I don't want any black down in there, so I'm going to go ahead and mask that off just in case. I don't want to have to dig that black out of there after I spray it. So now I'm going to go ahead and set that down. We're going to use the primer on this one. Actually, I need to set that back up, don't I? Because I need to do the edge. Sorry about that. So I need to do the edge. Let's make sure everything is, yeah. So I'm using my Lazy Susan jig here that Dad made years ago. Again, even though this is cedar and this doesn't have a tendency to bleed, don't overspray. Gosh, I wonder where I've heard that before. All right, so it is about 100 degrees out here today, so that stuff is pretty dry, pretty fast. Yeah, a little bit of a breeze, but not a real heavy wind that would take this, not let me spray this ink. I really like working out here on the patio. This is so much better than inside.
It makes it so that stuff is...
Yeah, especially for an operation like this, because this stuff is pretty in that little room. All right, so we're going to let that set for about 2 minutes and we'll come right back. So now I've inverted it. You can see that there are a few little light spots in there, and I'm just going to hit those a little bit. Something I mentioned on the LTS the other day, these nozzles, by the way, do not clear the same as the way the old ink can nozzles do. So it doesn't really make a difference. So I don't turn these up and try to clear them. That's it, I'm done. So we're gonna let that dry. We'll come back and sand it off. All right, we got our 50 grit belt on here. We're gonna get the back done first. Here we go. Another reason I really like it out here is have access to the compressor and the air hose rather than using the little vacuum blower. All right. Now this one's a little trickier, so I think rather than sanding off up here being this far away from my body, I think I'm going to do it in halves. You always have a little bit better control. The closer that sander is to you, the less chance it's going to tip on you, and you have a little bit better control. So in case you guys haven't seen this before, I use this 50 grit belt. I use it just to take most of the black off. This thing cuts, it grinds really, really fast. So I want to be really, really careful with it. You always want to be careful with a belt sander, but this one especially, because especially on this soft cedar, it grinds that stuff off there really fast. So you got to have a super light touch. So now we're going to go back with the little Porter Cable Armadillo sander, and this one has got I think I might have it 120. Let me check that. I know that other one was definitely a 50. This one is this is a 175 actually, which is kind of weird. It's kind of a weird grit, but this is actually a 175. All right, folks, let's see what it looks like. Here's the fun part. Unless it doesn't look good, then it's not fun. But let's hope so. Ready? Not too bad. So you can see I missed a couple little high spots. One right in there, and looks like one there, one there, one there. Not too bad though. I think I got most of them. So we'll come back, we'll touch that up, and we'll move on to the next step. All right, you guys, I touched up the other side with the Sharpie. I just used a Sharpie to touch up the other side, those little white spots, but I want to go right into the finishing. So I'm using the Czar exterior water-based polyurethane. I really like this stuff. I don't know whether this sign is actually going to go outside or not. That's kind of up to, I wanted Roger and Becky to have the option to put this outside if they wanted to. And I like the fact that this goes on clear. It doesn't have an amber color like the Helmsman, and I really want this this cedar to be as clear and really pop, so I don't want to darken it too much. So I'm using the Critter sprayer. I've got my air set at about 50 pounds, which seems to work really well. I upgraded to the quart jars. It works much better, and I know a lot of you guys have built your own little stands for the small jars, but I really like the quart jar. It helps it stand up really well, whereas with the little ones it would be falling over right now. So let's actually, I want to blow that off one more time. So like I say, I've got, are you waving at me?
No, I'm
flies.
away the flies.
I've got 50 pounds of pressure in here, so we are gonna get this going. Oh, and I'm using the little triangles that Vicky found when she was doing the pours for her table, so I think they'll work pretty good. I hope so. Yeah, they work really well. Now, I think it's, there we go. I need to clean off that nozzle a little bit. I think that'll work. So I'm probably going to end up doing 2 or 3 coats on this. So I always do the back first, just the surface of the back. Then I'm going to go all the way around the side. Make sure the edges are all done. I didn't plan that too well, actually. I'm just going to rotate that. That way we have a good look at it from the right angle. All right, there it is. So we'll have one more scene. I'll come back after I put another couple coats on this thing, and we'll wrap this thing up. All right, folks, that's it. So it is now the next morning. I got 3 coats on this thing with the critter sprayer. And again, you know, you guys know me, I love the critter sprayer. It's not a big HVLP professional sprayer, but it sure works good for what I want. And I like how easy it is to use. So again, I use the Czar polyurethane. It can be, you know, I'm not sure whether Roger and Becky are going to put this outside, but it can go outside if they want. And I really like this stuff because it's clear, and I like it because it's water-based, easy cleanup. Takes about 10 seconds to clean out that critter sprayer with some water. So I had a blast with this. So again, here's the logo, the original logo, and that's how the sign came out. Had a blast on this one. Thank you. So I just want to say thank you so much to Roger and Becky. Again, I can't wait to, hopefully you guys are going to go back to Workbench Con in February where we can get a chance to hang out with you. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this and for the cedar that you sent me. I just really had a blast with it. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope your 4th of July is good. Oh, Friday we're going to do a big sign carvers of the day, and there's actually, before we do the big sign carvers of the day, there's an issue that I want to go over real quick, and then we're going to do a whole bunch of sign carvers of the day. And then next week, hopefully we'll start that new project, working on a collab for a big YouTuber. So you guys will see that next week. Hope everybody is enjoying your holiday. And then one last thing. Thank you. I don't say this enough, how honored and humbled that we are that you guys take time out of your day to watch what it is we do. We're so thankful and just grateful and just feel blessed that we get to do what we love to do, and you guys support us so well. So a big thank you to all the premium members and any of you guys that watch our videos. We so appreciate you. And again, if you have any questions, anything I can help with, I'm here all the time. It's what I do, eric@makeawoodsign.com. I'm happy to answer anything that I can for you. So hope everybody has a great 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. And we will see you guys on Friday. Have a great one. Bye-bye. Okay, so I just forgot. I just filmed that scene and I forgot. In between coats, I left it about a couple hours in between coats, and in between coats I just took some 500 sandpaper and just really softly sanded the surface of this sign in between coats. I really meant to say that on the other scene, but anyway, so don't forget to do that when you're putting coats on. Lightly sand in between coats. That's it. See you later, guys. Bye.